Hello, everybody. How are y'all doing? I hope everybody's doing well. Everybody, have a good Tuesday. Thank you all for being here. Hello, R. Taylor. Hello, Miss Kathy. Hope you're well. There's our Millie. Hey, little Dev, Melissa. Thank y'all so much. Well, there's our Smiley. Thank you for being here. Y'all are so sweet. Cheryl, thanks for coming in. Thank y'all. Thank y'all. Hi, wise old lady. And Karen, how are you? Hey, TJ. There's our faithful TJ here. Well, hello, hello. Sorry I'm not on camera tonight. I look like poo. I'm just not going to cam up tonight. I am so crazy. Hey, not crazy. How you doing? Well, Justin has started going live between 6 and 7. So it's like my timeline got all messed up there. So, um, anyways, um, everything is good my way. Just been busy trying to organize this room up here, bringing winter clothes from out of my storage. I tell y'all what, it stinks when you're not living in your own place and have all your stuff. But I am making it. But anyways, hello, Sharice. How you doing? I am going to be going up not far from you, Sharice, for Thanksgiving. We are going above Dallas to Munster. Isn't that a name for a town? So, yeah, I'm going to get there someday, I swear. Oh, I bet, Smiley. I'm glad you're home. Everything's going to settle down for you pretty soon. You're going to be able to settle in and breathe again. Everybody's freezing. Y'all, I'm not joking. It is 80 something degrees here. Look, real quick. This is what I'm wearing today, guys. I have on just a maxi dress thing. That's it. It is hot here. Oh, your hubby's got to work on Thanksgiving. Yes, Sharice, it's like 4 miles from the Oklahoma border. But that's okay. That's good for me because I'm going to go across that border and get my lotion for my back. Yay. You're supposed to get a little snow on Thursday? Wow. I love snow. And of course, I live in a place that never gets it. Well, hello, Miss Rhonda. Thanks for being here. Appreciate you. But I like the beach. Love the sound of the waves. That is the most relaxing place in the world, I swear. But I also like snow. Thursday and Friday, Millie's getting snow. Well, hello, Miss Annabella. Listening from her bed. Oh, give little Clarabelle a big kiss from her Lolly. Her Auntie Lolly says her loves her. She's got the cutest little pup. But, well, guys, we got something crazy to listen to tonight. You have 4 seasons. Oh, wise old lady. Here in Texas, our seasons depend on what day. Like tomorrow, it's barely going to get into the 70s. It's going to get down in the 30s. Today, I'm in a maxi dress. I mean, I'm like super comfy because it's hot. I went out with the dogs earlier and I was sitting out on the swing and I was like, Ugh, I want to go back inside. It's hot out here. And then tomorrow will be cold. And that's why we all stay sick in Texas. When nobody ever gets well. Oh, goodness. Okay, guys. Well, I don't know what's happening out in the world around Tennessee and Hendersonville. Dog and his team are on the hunt, and it sounds like they're shaking some trees out there. But we'll see what happens. We will see. I just hope whatever it is, Sebastian is found. That's my number one goal. I don't care who's involved. I don't care what happens to them. I want Sebastian found. He needs and deserves to be found. Not so bad. 40s and 50s. Not too bad, huh? Burr. Oh, goodness. Well, we are going to listen to something. Blue Eyes Jewel sent me a clip and said, you got to listen to this. And I was blown away. Okay, sorry. Anyways, we're making plans for this weekend. My niece, my goddaughter, is getting married, and so we're making travel plans. All of us trying to make sure we all get down there, what days and everything. My daughter's texted me, so sorry about that. 60 now. Oh, lucky you. I think we are right at 80 right now. But anyways, I listened to that clip and I was like, wait, what? I could not believe what I heard. And so I was like, yeah, we're going to listen to this. It's very well put together. It is a channel called Police Off the Cuffs. And wow. So I'm going to get us ready to go, get us started. I will be pausing. Hey, Blue Eyes, we're fixing to play the video you found for us. It dropped in the 30s. Oh, they're blooming. Stuff started blooming back out around here because it started getting so dry and we had so much rain for a while. And, you know, of course, all that does is create more pollen and, oh, it's crazy. So, Sharice, you've heard this? Yeah. Yes. So, we're going to listen to it. If you haven't heard it, you're going to be very surprised with one word that he uses. So, let me get us a little music for the background. Get us going here. Let's see if this is. Okay, we'll do that. Let's get us a copyright going on here. Got that. Let me get this going. And here we go. I will be pausing and I'm going to be commentating, so we'll have discussions about it. Here we go.
I'm retired NYPD Sergeant Bill Cannon, a 27-year veteran of the NYPD. Welcome to Police Off the Cuff, Real Crime Stories. Absence of evidence is not evidence of absence. As a retired NYPD sergeant, This is one quote we've always lived by in the department. The absence of evidence is never the evidence of absence. It is, in fact, a sign to look deeper into the hidden crevices of a case. Today, we look at the Sebastian Rogers case, a rather riveting case that looks deep into how, even with the tons of data surrounding us today, we're still bound by the conventionalities of the physical world.
I just want my baby to be okay. I don't know where he's at.
Heading missing juvenile, 1008 Stanford Court, 1008 Stanford Court, Hendersonville. Caller died this morning. They woke up and their 15-year-old male was not in the bed. We had a white male, 3 blonde hair, approximately 5 foot, 120 pounds. I was going to be wearing a black sweatshirt, black sweatpants. Juvenile does have a form of autism. This is the first time it happened. I was going to be in the home before midnight. All the doors are locked at this time.
Just warming around.
Sebastian Rogers, a 15-year-old autistic teenager, disappeared from his Hendersonville home in February. The circumstances regarding his disappearance were peculiar. His mom described him as a smart and clever teenager who wasn't prone to extreme actions, such as running away. She also remembered hearing a loud thud from his room at 10 p.m. on the night of February 25th.
Normal, he was playing in his room. When I told him to go to bed, he did. He said, "Good night, Mom, I love you."
Katie says she went to wake up Sebastian around 6 a.m. Monday for school, and he was gone. Within minutes, Katie says she was on the phone with Chris, who was working out of town, and they quickly called 911.
And he's not a runner. He's never run away before. I don't know why. I don't know why he walked out that door.
I mean, he's a good kid. He's not a mischievous child by any means.
Surprisingly, Mom Katie Proudfoot and stepdad Chris Proudfoot didn't investigate the source of the disturbance. When they woke up next morning, it was all too late.
You notice him saying when they woke up and they did not investigate.
Sebastian Rogers was not in his room the next morning. Now, Katie doesn't wait around. After checking everywhere she can think of, she knows something's wrong. She contacts the police right away. In a small town like Sumner County, Tennessee, the local police don't waste any time either. They understand the urgency, and before the morning's over, they've reached out to the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation. By that morning, an endangered child alert is issued. Reports from the next day suggest Sebastian was last seen in Hendersonville, wearing a black sweatshirt, black sweatpants, and his glasses. The community starts to mobilize. More than 200 searchers come out to help. You've got local residents, trained searchers, canine units, mounted officers, drones, and helicopters all combing the area, searching for any trace of Sebastian. On February 27th, the search takes a serious turn. Authorities escalate the alert to an Amber Alert. An Amber Alert isn't issued lightly. It means the investigators are worried that Sebastian may have been abducted, that he could be in immediate danger. They're working against the clock here, and they know every second counts.
Charisse, according to his mother, that's what he wore to bed. So that's the last thing they saw him wearing, supposedly.
Detectives even play Sebastian's favorite song, Eye of the Tiger, over loudspeakers, hoping that maybe, just maybe, it'll draw him out, give him a moment of comfort, or help him find his way. Imagine that, using something as personal as a favorite song just to get a response. A sign that he's still out there. It's heartbreaking and a little desperate, but they're not giving up. Tennessee cops searching for missing autistic boy Sebastian Rogers blast Eye of the Tiger into the woods a week after he vanished from his bed. Sebastian Rogers, 15, left his family house with a flashlight on February 26. Tennessee state troopers used a drone to blast Eye of the Tiger to message him. Authorities are also reaching out to the community, asking everyone to check their security cameras, their doorbell footage, anything that might show where Sebastian went or who he was with. This isn't just the authorities anymore. It's the entire community joining forces, trying to piece together where the 15-year-old could have gone. But as the hours ticked by and the days stretched on, there was nothing. No footage, no sightings. Just that image of a kid in a black sweatshirt and sweatpants. As the case moved...
Pay close attention right here, okay? Listen to his words.
Further, police and researchers guessed towards the more sinister outcome of a nefarious crime. Authorities took the extraordinary step of draining a pond near the Rogers home, hoping to find any trace of him. But after hours of hard work, they came up empty-handed. Despite multiple tips and security footage, submissions from vigilant locals, nothing substantial surfaced.
If someone calls and says, hey, I think we saw him by the pond, we're going to the pond and checking. For lack of a better term, we threw everything that we possibly could throw at this. I'll show you a picture of the map in just a moment. We absolutely obliterated covering the area where Sebastian could have walked.
As if this case couldn't get any stranger, just a few days later, on March 7th, the police searched a landfill in White Plains, Kentucky. This wasn't based on a specific tip, but rather a precaution because this landfill received trash from the Rogers neighborhood. It's a grim and unsettling step, searching through the refuse from a community in hopes of finding any hint of a missing child. Once again, though, it was a dead end.
Breaking news in the search for 15-year-old Sebastian Rogers. The Sumner County Sheriff's Office tells News 2 their investigators, assisted by Kentucky State Police, are searching the landfill in Kentucky where trash went from Sebastian's neighborhood. Kentucky State Police confirmed to News 2 investigators are still on the scene at the landfill in Hopkins County. The Sumner County Sheriff's Office says there is no specific information that indicates evidence related to the search for Sebastian may be there. The Sheriff's Office says it's an investigative precautionary measure.
Even the canine.
A precautionary measure. But yet, guys, y'all have to remember when they're picking up the trash man said, he reported their trash was extra, extra heavy. It was not a normal heavy can. So to me, that's just cause to go look and see what extra was in there.
9 units, often instrumental in tracing missing individuals, couldn't pick up a scent trail. It was like Sebastian had simply vanished without leaving any trace at all. These were critical days in the investigation. Each new search, each dead end only deepened the mystery. For Sebastian's family and the Sumner County community, it left a lingering, unanswered question. If not here, then where? As in the case with most missing people cases, law enforcement scaled back to save budgets. Physical search efforts were dialed down around the 9th of March as police officials were asked to focus on the investigative side of the case.
It's become an investigative side, not a runaway child anymore. They're starting to investigate what could have happened. Pay real close attention to what's being said next.
While local interest peaked, there were multiple questions asked over the absence of both parents. Katie and Chris, the stepdad, had not made a public appearance since Sebastian's death.
Did y'all hear that? Let's hear it one more time.
Local interest peaked. There were multiple questions asked over the absence of both parents. Katie and Chris, the stepdad, had not made a public appearance since Sebastian's death.
Since Sebastian's death. How ironic that that word is used instead of him being missing, instead of using the word runaway. He says since his death. I find that very strange, yet he may have misspoken. But sadly, that word is very possible in this case.
One of the first things we see in a missing child's case is the parents coming out and leaving a statement. The emotional side of the statement can bring together community groups and strengthen the search. But this was found lacking here. Both Chris and Katie maintained silence through the first 10 days of Sebastian's absence. In fact, their first public appearance was recorded on the 4th of March. The two appeared sullen, but speculations were now gaining steam. On March 10th, Sebastian's biological father, Seth Rogers, spoke out, and you could hear the worry in his words. He didn't believe his son just wandered off. He had a firm belief that his ex-wife was to blame for the disappearance.
That your wife allowed your son, Sebastian, your ex-wife, I should say, your ex-wife allowed Sebastian to be in a situation where he was molested and raped?
In California. And Chris in her apartment. They let a child who was 5 years older than my son play with my son and didn't bother to check on him there neither.
Did you hear Seth's words? They didn't bother to check on him there neither. So this is two accounts. One, when Sebastian was with an older boy that did whatever it was he did to Sebastian under Katie and Chris's roof. A thud is heard. She goes to sleep under Katie and Chris's roof. Sebastian's now gone. Two accounts where things happened to Sebastian and yet he was not checked in on.
Sebastian wasn't that type of kid. He was cautious, and he wasn't a fan of going barefoot. Seth made a point to mention that detail. Something had happened years ago that made Sebastian uncomfortable going without shoes. So the idea that he'd leave without them just didn't sit right with him. A few days later, on March 14, there was a new lead. A news outlet, WTBF, got a hold of some footage from outside the Proudfoot home. It showed lights moving around the yard around 3 a.m. the night Sebastian disappeared. Looked like flashlights. It raised questions. Who was outside at that hour? Was it connected to Sebastian's disappearance? Or was it just a coincidence?
The video you are about to see is from early Monday morning, February 26th, around 3:10 a.m. Now, there are no street lights in the Stafford Court neighborhood, so it is at night, pitch black. What you will see here are these 2 points of light believed to be people with flashlights in the area around Sebastian Rogers' Hendersonville home. It is believed Sebastian left his home barefoot and with a flashlight sometime overnight. Since his disappearance, authorities have reviewed security video from homes in the neighborhood looking for clues.
We have had several clips that have come in.
And this one is getting the most attention, showing signs of activity around Sebastian's home the night he disappeared. You see, 2 light sources, which we've circled to help you follow. For point of reference, the security camera was pointed toward the back of Sebastian's home in a common area. In the video, you see subject 1 with a light source in the lower right-hand corner. Then you see subject 2 briefly appear and move toward the first before that.
Okay, guys, remember our lesson yesterday? We saw a trash truck with all of its lights on, driving down the road. It does cast a shadow over to the side. However, both lights remain the same. They both move at the same time. One light does not move without the other light moving with it. This is not a trash truck.
That light source is covered or obscured by bushes. Subject 1, a few seconds later, then moves out of frame. Then subject 2 reappears and follows subject 1 off screen. It's a short time later and it's very vague, but then you see one of the subjects moving quickly back through the common area and
one light by itself. A trash truck does not have one light that goes off by itself. Remember, they're all cohesively in sync together. This is not a trash truck.
And that is it.
The next day, the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation stepped in. They issued a statement saying there was no evidence of criminal activity and confirmed the family was cooperating fully. They also put out a warning asking people not to share or speculate about footage online. The TBI knew that the wrong kind of public chatter could lead to misunderstandings and hurt the case. Then on March 21st, Seth Rogers took things into his own hands again. He received a tip and it was enough to push him into organizing a search of Natchez Trace State Park, about 100 miles from Sumner County. He led the effort himself, hoping this lead would bring answers. But again, they found nothing. No sign of Sebastian. Just another dead end. For Seth, every failed search added to the weight of what he was already carrying. This was his son, and all he had were leads that went nowhere. No answers, no closure. Just the hope that somewhere, somehow, the next clue would finally tell him what happened. On March 23rd, the United Cajun Navy stepped in. They are a volunteer group known for their search and rescue work.
Pay careful attention, very close, detailed attention to this part. This, for me, is huge. These people are well known for what they do. And something, whatever it was, had to be big enough to make them leave.
Often showing up for big cases like this. They just wrapped up the search for Riley Strain, a college kid who went missing in Nashville. His body had been found in the Cumberland River, but with that case closed, the United Cajun Navy turned their focus to Sebastian's disappearance. Their experience, resourceful, and most importantly, willing to go wherever they're needed. But then on March 29, just days into their search for Sebastian, they pulled out. And the reason they gave? Threats. Somebody had been making threats against their volunteers, enough to force them to step back from the case.
Security concerns, the United Cajun Navy is temporarily calling off their search for Sebastian Rogers. Good evening and welcome to News 2 Now at 10. I'm Bob Mueller.
And I'm Haley Wilkes. The nonprofit organization joined the search for the teen missing out of Hendersonville last weekend. But as News 2's Sarah Smith reports, the group says the search has now become too dangerous.
The volunteer group United Cajun Navy reportedly getting death threats for their efforts in finding Sebastian Rogers.
Now, this raises a big question. Who would want to threaten people trying to find a missing?
That's the question. Why would someone want to threaten people who are just looking for a missing 15-year-old boy? Who would want to do that? It's absolutely disgusting to sit and think about the fact that someone does not want this child found, and to threaten serious threats against a group that is well organized, well known for all of their efforts in finding missing people, for them to leave due to the threats. It had to have been serious. And that thought alone tells you there is foul play that is trying to be covered up. They don't want this child found at all.
It's not just a random prank. For the United Cajun Navy to take this seriously enough to suspend their efforts, these threats had to feel real, even dangerous. Was it someone trying to keep them from discovering something? Or was it just an unhinged individual trying to stir fear and confusion? Either way, these weren't empty words. They had enough weight to stop an experienced search team in its tracks. It's unsettling. The Navy pulling out left a gap in the search, and it adds another layer to this mystery. Threats against the rescue team aren't typical in missing person cases. And it leaves us wondering if someone out there knows more than they're saying, or worse, if someone has a reason to keep this case from ever being solved. This wasn't the only thing that happened on March 29th. On the same day, another development came up. Katie and Chris Proudfoot, Sebastian's mother and stepfather, left their Sumner County home, the very place where Sebastian was last seen. They confirmed the move on an appearance on Crime Stories with Nancy Grace. Nancy Grace didn't hold back. She got right to it, asking them why they left while the search for their son was still ongoing. Katie and Chris responded directly. Chris said he needed to get back to work, and Katie added that she'd gone with him to Memphis. But Nancy pressed further, asking if they were worried about being away from home while the search was still active. Katie admitted she was, but she explained it in simple terms. My son should be anywhere, she said. My son could be anywhere. We're looking everywhere and anywhere. It's a tough call to make, leaving the home base during a search like this. Some might question it, but Katie's reasoning was clear. She's not limiting the search to one place. She's looking for her son, where it might take her. These two developments on the same day, the Navy pulling out over threats and the Proudfoots leaving Sumner County, left a lot of people with questions. And they added even more complexity to a case that already seemed to have more unknowns than answers. April 2nd brought a small development in the search for Sebastian. Investigators announced they'd found a pair of glasses, but they couldn't confirm whether they were Sebastian's. It was just another lead that went nowhere, and authorities took the chance to remind the public there was still no evidence pointing to criminal activity in his disappearance. Then, on April 17th, Sebastian's biological father, Seth Rogers, decided to take matters into his own hands. Frustrated with the lack of progress, He hired private investigators to help track down any new leads. He wasn't going to wait around. He wanted fresh eyes on the case, hoping they might see something that had been missed. A few weeks later, on May 7th, there was a glimmer of hope. Investigators were looking into a possible sighting of a teen who looked like Sebastian in North Carolina. Seth had seen the photo himself and believed it could be his son. But soon after, that hope was dashed when investigators confirmed the boy in the photo wasn't Sebastian. Another lead gone cold, another letdown for a father who just wanted his son back. By May 21st, Seth Rogers had had enough. He publicly called on the FBI to take over the investigation. He didn't want this case to fall through the cracks, didn't want it to become just another cold case. Seth was adamant. He wanted the nation's top law enforcement agency on his son's case, pushing for answers that by now seemed further away than ever. Each step forward in this case seemed to be met with two steps back. For Seth Rogers, every dead end, every misidentified photo was another painful reminder of his son's absence. And as he pushed for the FBI's involvement, it was clear that he wouldn't stop until he had answers. By September, a new face joined the search for Sebastian Rogers. Dwayne Chapman, better known as Dog the Bounty Hunter. It had been months since Sebastian disappeared, and the active search had scaled back, with law enforcement focusing more on the investigative side of things. But for Seth Rogers, Sebastian's biological father, giving up was never an option. When Chapman joined, he took immediate action. He raised the reward for any information leading to Sebastian from $50,000 to $100,000. But he didn't stop there. This week, he announced another increase, bringing the reward up to $175,000. His team claims they've received valuable new information, including leads in Oregon and New York. These are serious tips, and they're sparking new movement in a case that's been at a standstill for too long. Chapman's team is even looking to expand, planning to add more investigators by early next year. They're signaling they're in this for the long haul, committed to following every credible lead, no matter how far it takes them. For anyone who thinks they might know something, however small, there are multiple ways to reach out. Chapman has set up a dedicated tip line at 833-835-5364. You can also contact the Sumner County Sheriff's Office at 615-451-3838. The Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, or even submit a tip online to the FBI. That's for missing person, Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. Chapman, Seth Rogers, and the entire investigative team are sending a message. They're not giving up on Sebastian. They're counting on someone out there to know something, to have seen something, and to finally help bring him home. Questions still remain of where Sebastian Rogers is right now. The world waits and watches as the search intensifies. For the dad, Seth Rogers, a lot of hopes are pinned on public interest not letting the case die. Did Sebastian Rogers walk away, or did he have an argument at home with his parents? Or was he abducted? These are all possible scenarios, and currently, we have no evidence to rule out even one. For now, Sebastian Rogers is a missing kid, and the world watches as all relevant stakeholders try their best to find a solution.
Okay, guys. everybody. Sorry, guys. I don't know what happened. I got to turn it off. Oh, goodness, guys. Hello to everybody coming in. Thank y'all for joining us. Mike, this was not Duty Ron. This was Mr. Cannon. Yes, I booted myself, Annabella. So, like I said, he did a good job putting this all together. A few things were not quite exact on point, but the story he gave us is 100% fact. What the parents said was on point. That's our main focus. And yes, he did say Sebastian's death. It could have been a word. He could have used the wrong word. It could have been whatever, several things. And guys, that word could very well be a part of Sebastian's case. But we don't know. We don't know. But he did pause before he said it, as if to emphasize that word. Anyways, I just wanted to go over that, listen to it, talked about the Cajun Navy. How insane is it that here is a missing child? This well-organized group had just found a child in the Cumberland River. And yet they came there to look for Sebastian, and they got ran out of town. Threats that were so real that they decided, no, not having no part of this. We're not going to play a game, because unfortunately someone thinks that it's fun to play a game with Sebastian's case. And at the end of the day, you stop and think about the people who have had threats, cars being messed with, tires being slashed, phone calls being made to them, people showing up at places, banging on doors, trying to open the doors. And yet they all seem to leave just in the nick of time before the law gets there. It's almost as if someone is giving them a heads up. Hey, they're on their way. But you don't hear about these things when a child goes missing. You hear about people walking around looking, spending their time, their money, making their own flyers, walking around looking for this child that's missing, looking and searching. But yet Sebastian's case has made a turn. You're supposed to believe in law enforcement, Mike. But I'll tell you this. Everything I've heard from Sumner County and from the stepfather of this child, his stepfather throwing out a sheriff and a TBI officer as a threat, it makes me wonder about them. It makes me question them in that area. It really does. And as far as the gangs, I think, guys, those gangs have been there. They've been around for a long time, I'm pretty sure. And you just don't hear about them too much. But yet, is it possible? Yeah. Anything's possible right now. Rhonda, I am 100% with you on that one, because if it was Edgar's daughter, if it was a stepfather's daughter that was missing, I'm going to guarantee you people would be threatened because they're not looking. And all stops would be ended. You're not going to try to stop somebody. Mike, nobody's having anybody call Dog the Bounty Hunter for tips first. They're saying call the FBI and report it. If you want to, call Dog and report it on his tip line as well. And from what I'm understanding, they're working together. But yeah, this would be a different story if it was Chris's daughter. Yeah, FBI. I don't trust the TBI. I don't trust them. Yeah, even Dog said send the tips to the FBI or TBI. Yeah. But we followed Summer Wells' case. Most of us have been part of that case, and TBI has done nothing in that case. They've been handed information that is uncanny and very obvious, yet nothing's been done. And I don't trust them. Didn't trust them way long before Sebastian went missing. And then we've got this Sumner County. We hear about how the Bowerstocks take vacations with judges, with law enforcement. Chris went to school with a lot of them. And guys, that trust level's just not there. And it's nothing personal. But we see nothing happening. And that makes us question everything, everyone associated with this case. It makes me question, makes me think twice. Okay. We're going to look at something, guys. I was really debating about putting this up, but I'm going to. Okay. We know Nick and Dog have their team. They're working really hard. They are working together with law enforcement, with the FBI. This was put out today. That poker table tells all. What else was on the line at that game. Do y'all remember the poker game? Remember what was talked about with the poker game? Katie and Sebastian was there. They were there. People saw them. It was reported to us. Katie and Sebastian were there. It is questionable whether Chris was there or not. Some say he was, others say they didn't see him. So what do they know about that poker table? What do they know about what happened at that poker table? Let's look. The very next post that got put out is this. The same person who lost that poker game miraculously planted and later found the purported pants. That table tells all. Guys, Terry Lynn is the one that was searching. She had someone with her when she was searching. They are the ones that found the pants. This post bothers me. But it's been talked about for a long time that this poker game could have possibly had something to do with Sebastian going missing 2 days later. Yes, Melissa, it was Terry Lynn that found them. You know, y'all, I don't think Sebastian met anyone. I don't think Sebastian ever made friends with people online. Everything I'm hearing sounds like Sebastian went home from school and basically went to his room where he was not allowed on the internet. He had no interest in that. Yes, Smiley. Nick does like riddles. But to put two out about that poker night, it does make me wonder what happened that night. There was so much speculation for a while about it and how Sebastian could have got into the laptop and could have seen things he shouldn't have seen and blah, 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 blah. And then that all dies down. No more talk about the poker night. And now we're talking about the poker night again. And we have a child that's missing. We have a child that's 15 years old. He has autism and he has a chromosome deletion as well. Very smart and intelligent young man. And yet he's disappeared, vanished without a trace. He did not turn into a ninja and poof, disappear. We know that doesn't happen. And yet, he's nowhere to be found. Is that because so many people are being diverted away from Sebastian's case due to threats? So there's only a handful of people out searching? Or is it that Sebastian has been placed somewhere where nobody's able to find him? Rhonda, I think you're onto something. Hidden in concrete or by concrete. Yeah. It might be two different incidents, Gil said, for the pants. Okay. Well, you know, we can only ask questions about what we hear because nothing is being confirmed as truth or fact. So that's what we're doing. We have to listen to things. We have to look at different things. We have to ask questions. Because if we don't ask questions, guys, yeah, we're not going to get nowhere. So we're asking questions. We're listening to different things. We're talking about where is this boy? And we're not getting anything. We're not getting any help from the other side. You know, and I hate to say the other side, but that's what it is. The other side. The side that don't want anyone to look. Diversions, distractions, threats. If you talk to anyone or about anything, it's the other side that attacks you because you're not doing right. But this is my question for the other side. How do you know what's right and what's wrong? Charisse hit it on the head. The FBI has to know something to put that much money out there. You're 100% correct on that. And we have Jennifer Coffendorfer's words when she says the FBI does not put up a reward of $50,000 for a runaway child. For someone who ran away, they do not put up a reward like that. And to get that money, they have to state their case and what they know. And it goes up a chain. From this one, they agree. It goes to the next one, they agree. And it goes to the top. And if they agree, the reward is approved. So they know something. They know that this is not a typical runaway child. And with that being said, you got to ask the question, what is it? If it's not a typical runaway child, then what are we talking about? He didn't vanish. But yet, we have the words of his stepfather. 1 week, 7 days after he has been reported missing. The father says this will be a case to be studied for years. 1 week. How is it that he knew that Sebastian wouldn't be found for a very long time? How is it that he knew Sebastian wasn't coming home right away? How is it that he knew this would become a case? In my opinion, because he knows. And that's my opinion, according to the words said. And that's all we have to go by. We have their words, and that's it. We can't assume. We can't guess. We can't state facts because we don't know the facts. The only fact we know is that Sebastian is missing. And the only other facts are the words that are said by the two people whose home this little boy come up missing from. Exactly, Smiley. For someone not there, he is very right. And why? You know, yesterday in our chat, we had someone in chat that put that they found his switch in the backyard. That comment was deleted, and that person's never been back. There's people out there that know things. There's people out there that might possibly be involved, and they're listening to us right now. They want to know what we know. So let me fill people in. We know that Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers was at the home of Katie and Chris Proudfoot. We know Sebastian went to bed, supposedly. And we know he's missing. That's what we know. He's missing from their house, and yet their words never make sense. Their words don't always match up to the story they told us last time. Their words seem to get them in trouble quite often. Their words are what we have to go on. The mother has quit talking online, quit talking to the news. And May was the last time she spoke. And there was no begging being done to find her child. No begging, no tears, no worried, no typical person would sit and tell a story that keeps getting added on to because the truth stays the same. And yet the mother has yet to tell a story that's the same. So we have to wonder, because that's all we have is their words. The stepfather, he talks for the mother. He says he doesn't, but he sure does, because we hear it. He tells us he's there working in the crane super early when he gets the call at 6 o'clock or 6:20. But yet, his work tells us they don't start work till 7 o'clock. He was there that morning. He was cranky. He was fussy. And yet he never told them he had a missing child from his home. That his stepson had come up missing. Never once were they told that. So how are we supposed to believe him? So we're questioning the mother. We have the stepfather. We got to question him. Yes, Smiley. Smiley says this is not my channel, but in my opinion, they were both military and they can hide things. They know how to hide things. But it's their words. It's their people that are protecting them, that attack other people online for speaking out. I keep telling y'all over and over, people keep telling me bad things, about Seth did this, he said this, blah, 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 blah. Okay, show me. Because I'm going to talk about any person possible that is doing nefarious type things. But nobody shows me anything that Seth has done concerning Sebastian going missing. They can talk big game, but there's nothing to back it up. And when you have a stepfather over here that's saying, well, he wouldn't go out that door, it's real loud, we would have heard him. A stepfather who tells us he wouldn't have went out his bedroom window because there were shrubs right there, and as soon as he hit those, we would have heard him. Lots of we's happening that night that he wasn't there. Lots of we's. But those are his words, not mine. And the mother has quit talking. The mother and stepfather have left the house repeatedly. They're not worried about the fact that their boy could come back home. They are not concerned. Or they wouldn't have left. And they're going to tell Nancy Grace that they are out looking other places for their child. But that same RV park told Silvers on the scene he never knew they had a missing child. He never knew. They didn't say anything. They didn't have up flyers all around that area because Silvers was out putting flyers up. They weren't looking. You don't look for something you know where it's at. You're not going to waste your time looking for something that you know where you placed it. That's my thought. That's my opinion. And now we have Dog the Bounty Hunter, the FBI. We have a legal team. We have TBI, and we have Sumner County. All looking for this child. His stepfather tells us, he always wanted to be a ninja, and this boy has done something that, people just don't do. He's outsmarted law enforcement. He stepped on that porch and poof, he vanished and is gone. But yet, people don't vanish. Even a ninja cannot vanish. They can walk away, they can run away, they can jump, they can hide, but they don't vanish. A real life ninja cannot vanish. Neither can a child. No one just vanishes. Of course, I've said it once. I'm going to continue to say it as much as I possibly can. For a mother to say her child ran away when he went to bed happy, when he was in a good mood and they had had a super great day. You don't run away because you're all happy and had a great time, right? Children run away because they're mad, they're angry, they're frustrated, they're so tired of what they've had to deal with and live with and all these things. But not one time have we ever heard of a child running away because they had a super great day. So the mother, once again, I say, holds the key to this whole case because she knows what's happened. She knows why he would have ran away. We know the mother was there for sure, 100%. She said she was there. In my opinion, so was the stepfather. In my opinion, after hearing from Silvers on the scene that he talked to the lead guy at Chris's work in Memphis, and they said he was not at work on Friday, on Saturday, on Sunday, and he came back to work Monday. He was not home. I mean, he was not at work. So was he at home? Was he home? Was he not allowed to be home? Was CPS the one that kept him from being at home? Was it something that Sebastian said or Sebastian did by telling on what Chris had done to him or how Chris had treated him, and CPS was tired of it? Is that why he wasn't allowed home? Is that why he had not been there for weeks? Could it be that Sebastian was causing problems in their marriage? Could it be that Sebastian, a child that I don't think even knew how to lie, He was straight up and honest. This is what happened to me. I got a spanking with the belt because I didn't put my belt on. Okay. But he went and got it as soon as he was asked about it. He went and got his belt. But he got whipped anyways. So things don't make sense. Things don't make sense. We could sit here all night, we could sit here all day tomorrow, and still things are not going to make sense. Because we're not getting the story. We are not getting the whole story. We don't know what really happened. Because we have a mother who's going to tell us detailed information about every little thing going on all weekend long until they get home after Texas Roadhouse on Sunday evening. And then we get very minute little details. And he's gone. He's gone. And that is the fact. Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers is missing. He is somewhere out there. And people do not want him found. Is there evidence on him? Is there evidence with him? Was he taken to a special home and lies told about him so that they've got him locked away? What is it? Until the truth comes out, all we have is their words. And their words cause us to go down a path that is not very favorable. Not at all. And when we look at the non-trash truck lighting that leads from the back part of his house, it doesn't look good. It doesn't look good. And it's very odd that Sebastian was said to have left with a flashlight. He didn't put on shoes, but he got a flashlight. He didn't put on a coat, but he got a flashlight. And his sister reiterates to everyone on Facebook that his glasses were on him when he left. Chris's sister made a post stating that his glasses were on him when he left. So how would she know that? Is it possible the shoes were overlooked? Is it possible they carried Sebastian out, grabbed his glasses so that it looked right? Grabbed a flashlight because they knew they were going to have to use flashlights to get him across the back of that area? So they overlooked the shoes because he wasn't walking. Was he carried? He wouldn't need shoes if he was carried out. It's my opinion, of course. But everything is just opinions and guesses and speculations because the truth hasn't been told. And there is one person for sure that holds that truth. And that's the mother who's not staying home waiting for her child to show up. That's the mother that goes on vacations all the way across the country, from one side of the United States to the other side. They're all in this together, in my opinion. They're all trying really hard to keep this child from being found. But we don't know the truth. And the one person that does know the truth is just living life without her child. So all we can do, guys, keep talking about him, keep putting out ideas and speculations. All we can do is keep listening to their words. Yes. Yep. Dispatch said they woke up. There's lots of little things that keeps getting said. The we's, they, yeah. Lots of things don't add up correctly. And a lot of the things that are not getting added up correctly that makes you wonder are probably, in my opinion, more truth than not. So, with that, I'm going to say thank you all for listening. Thank you for being here and for having conversations in the chat, putting your ideas out there. And I thank you for caring enough about Sebastian to go into all the different lives, listen to everybody's opinions, listen to things, hear it a different way, a new way, put on your thinking caps and be an open-minded, because when you start closing off onto one theory and one theory only, you get off onto the wrong side, because we don't know that one theory. We don't know the truth. And we have to remember that. All we have to go by is the words of these parents. Yeah, Mary, don't get tunnel vision. Be careful with that because it's so easy to do. But I do thank everybody for being here. We will come back again tomorrow and have some more discussions. Sebastian is our target. I don't give a darn about the parent. I really don't care about them. The thing I do care about is that the mother holds the key to all of it. And that is a fact. She was there in that house with her son. What happened that you could say the word run away? He ran away. How can you sit there and say he went out that door? You were there, Katie. You know the truth, Katie. So it's time to step up. Chris needs to tell the truth. Katie needs to tell the truth. Because we're finding out little things along the way. And we have people to back it up and say, oh, that's not true. Sebastian deserves to be found. We will continue until he is found. And I just pray that as his mother, who carried that child in her belly, gave birth to him, that she can live with herself and what has happened. I pray that she gets help, because I honestly believe she holds the key to every bit of it. So, guys, I love you so much. Y'all have a super good night. Check out everybody else that's talking about Sebastian. Keep an open mind, hear things, listen, learn things. And we'll be back tomorrow. And tomorrow we're going to do an open panel. So y'all think about it. I want y'all to come up. Y'all can just give me your opinion. You don't have to show your face, but we can talk about different theories. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for behaving in chat, I guess is the word to use. Thank you all for who you are, what you're doing, and for the love you have for this handsome young man with a smile that just touches your heart. Pray for him and keep us all in your prayers so that we can stay strong for Sebastian and stay focused on him. And with that, love and hugs, everybody. Love y'all. Y'all have a good night.